Imagine for a moment two figures separated by 15 centuries yet united by a common ambition to build something that lasts. In one scene, a 6th-century Benedictine monk cloistered within cold, silent stone walls, his world illuminated only by the gentle flickering light of a single candle. His tools are rudimentary: ink, parchment, his own focused mind. His day is not his own to design. It is governed by a strict ancient rhythm: prayer, work. He has no access to electricity, no software, no global communication network. Yet, from this profound simplicity, he and his brothers will lay the groundwork for an agricultural empire, an intellectual empire. Now, pivot to a different world entirely. High above the sprawling, chaotic metropolis, a modern CEO stands silhouetted against floor-to-ceiling glass. Her world is a constant barrage: notifications, emails, alerts. Delivered through the glowing screens of her multiple devices, she commands vast resources, leveraging cutting-edge technology and a global team connected in an instant. Despite this arsenal, she finds her days fractured, her attention splintered, and her deepest strategic goals perpetually just beyond her grasp. This stark contrast presents a profound and unsettling paradox. How is it possible that these ancient men, armed with little more than discipline and a shared purpose, managed to achieve feats of enduring significance? They engineered water-powered machinery and meticulously copied and preserved the essential texts of history, philosophy, and science. Meanwhile, we, their hyper-connected descendants, equipped with technologies that would seem like pure magic, so often struggle to complete a single, meaningful task without being pulled away by the siren call of digital distraction. The monk had no choice but to focus. The CEO has a world of choices, and that may be the very source of her struggle. This exploration will journey back in time to uncover the forgotten secrets of monastic productivity, not as a mere historical curiosity, but as a practical and urgent blueprint for our own distracted age. We will dissect the powerful management framework known as the Rule of St. Benedict, and examine the neuroscience that underpins its startling effectiveness. We will ask the central question that haunts our overstimulated minds: how did individuals with no technological advantages build empires of focus and deep work, while we, surrounded by productivity tools, find ourselves drowning in a sea of shallowness? The answer, as we will discover, lies not in adding more to our lives, but in systematically taking things away. To understand the Benedictine monastery's incredible output, we must first look beyond its stone walls and into the document that governed every moment within them. This document is the Rule of St. Benedict, written around the year 529. Not a simple list of observances, but a comprehensive operating system for life. A management manual for the human soul and community. Created not for saints, but for ordinary men, acknowledging their frailties and potential. The genius of the rule is a deep understanding of human nature. It minimized the chaos of individual choice and maximized collective achievement and personal growth. Decisions about what to wear, when to eat, when to sleep, what work to perform. That limitation of choice liberated cognitive resources, freeing monks from decision fatigue that plagues modern life. With a fixed framework, the mind stopped wrestling with the mundane and channeled energy into the two pillars: prayer and work. An ancient algorithm for focus. The entire Benedictine day was structured around two deceptively simple Latin words: ora et labora. Ora, labora, meaning pray and work. Pray, work. This was not merely a motto, it was the fundamental principle that balanced the monk's life, dividing his time between spiritual contemplation and physical labor. The hours of silent prayer and reading, known as Lectio Divina, cultivated an inner stillness and focus. This focus carried into manual labor, in the fields, the forge, or the scriptorium. The daily schedule, the horarium, orchestrated this rhythm. A 24-hour timetable dictated by the sun and the seasons. The day was divided into 8 canonical hours for prayer, from matins before sunrise to compline after sunset. Between worship were dedicated uninterrupted blocks for work, typically 3 to 6 hours. A monk did not wake up wondering what to do. The horarium decided for him. This lack of ambiguity initiated and sustained deep focus. In these long, protected blocks of labora, monks reached a state modern neuroscience calls deep work, working on a single task for hours on end, without interruption. There were no notifications, no meetings. That focus let them master complex skills and produce exceptional work. The silence of the monastery was infrastructure as vital as its stone walls, creating the mental space for mastery. The alternation between contemplation and action improved both cognitive and spiritual well-being. Physical labor kept intellectual work from becoming abstract, while the quiet introspection of prayer kept labor from becoming mindless toil. It was a model made for the long haul, preventing burnout and producing steady, cumulative output that over centuries built an empire of faith and agriculture. The monk's ability to produce such high-quality work for hours on end was not a matter of superior willpower alone. It was the direct result of how their structured lives physically reshaped their brains. Modern neuroscience offers a compelling explanation through the concept of myelin, a fatty substance that acts as insulation for our neural circuits. Think of it as the rubber coating on an electrical wire. The more you practice a specific skill, reading Latin, swinging a scythe, chanting a psalm, the more layers of myelin your brain wraps around the relevant neural pathways. This process, known as myelination, makes nerve signals travel faster and more efficiently. It is the biological basis of mastery. The monastic lifestyle was ideal for building thick, efficient myelin. When a monk spent 4 hours copying a text, he was firing the same specific circuits over and over. This sustained, targeted practice sent a clear signal to his brain. This circuit is important. Insulate it. In stark contrast to the myelin-building environment of the monastery, the modern workplace seems almost perfectly designed to prevent it. Our days are defined not by long stretches of deep focus, but by a relentless series of shallow interruptions. Each one of these alerts, no matter how brief, forces a context switch. Every time we switch contexts, our brain pays a tax. This cognitive cost is known as attention residue. Even after you've answered that quick question on Slack and returned to your report, a part of your brain is still thinking about the previous conversation. This residue clogs your cognitive bandwidth. This constant shifting also has a profound impact on our brain's chemistry, particularly its relationship with dopamine. Our brains get a small hit of it every time we receive a new piece of information. Technology companies have expertly engineered their platforms to exploit this feedback loop, turning our devices into digital slot machines. This creates a state of dopamine exhaustion. The brain, accustomed to the quick hits of dopamine from constant context switching, finds the sustained effort of deep work to be boring and unrewarding. Unlike the monk whose environment trained his brain for patience and depth, the modern professional's environment trains the brain for distraction and instant gratification. We are systematically dismantling our ability to concentrate. The high-tech office, intended as a hub of productivity, has become a factory for fractured attention. The Benedictine commitment to deep work did not just produce spiritual enlightenment, it also produced remarkable feats of engineering. Nowhere is this more evident than in their mastery of hydraulic engineering. They became the undisputed masters of water power, creating systems that were centuries ahead of their time. This single, elegant system automated tasks that would have otherwise required immense manual labor, freeing up the monk's time for other, more specialized work. It was a vertically integrated, automated factory complex, all powered by a single, sustainable resource. While water wheels powered the monastery's body, the scriptorium powered its mind. It was, in effect, the first content factory in Western history. The scriptorium was not a place of solitary, artistic whimsy. It was a highly organized production line. Every stage was a specialized task in a larger workflow that minimized errors and maximized output. Through their disciplined, factory-like process, the monks ensured the ideas of the past would survive to ignite the intellectual fires of the future. The Benedictine model was also applied with tremendous success to agriculture. Monasteries became centers of agricultural innovation. The monks' stability and long-term perspective allowed them to engage in multi-generational projects. They were pioneers of scientific farming. In regions like Burgundy, they studied subtle variations in soil and sun exposure, developing the concept of terroir that defines fine winemaking to this day. Ultimately, the monks built a decentralized, self-replicating empire. Through this simple, scalable model, the Benedictine network spread across Europe, building a resilient and productive empire not through conquest, but through prayer, work, and patient cultivation. The modern workplace operates under a tyranny of the urgent. Tools designed for instant communication created a culture where an immediate response is the expected default. We mistake frantic activity for genuine productivity. This stands in stark opposition to the monastic world. The Benedictine monks' day was governed by the important, not the urgent. Beyond the loss of productivity, our hyper-connected world is creating a deeper cognitive crisis: solitude deprivation. We have become intolerant of empty moments. We have eliminated the quiet spaces in our day, the moments of productive boredom where our minds could wander, reflect, and create. A lack of solitude is linked to increased anxiety, poor emotional regulation, and a diminished capacity for empathy. The good news is that this capacity is not lost, only dormant. Our brains are remarkably plastic. They can be retrained for focus through deliberate practice. We can adopt our own version of the Herarium by scheduling inviolable blocks of deep work into our calendars. We can practice a digital Sabbath, enforcing strict windows of silence where notifications are banished. A monk mode morning, for instance, where the first hours of the day are dedicated to a high-value task without any internet connection, can fundamentally change the trajectory of our output. The forces of distraction and shallow work are only accelerating, making the ability to perform deep, focused, human-centric work an increasingly rare and valuable skill. The final, inescapable conclusion is this: the future of leadership and high-value work will look less like a frantic, hyper-connected CEO and more like a calm, focused monk. To truly lead and innovate in the demanding landscape of 2026 and beyond, you must first learn to work with the profound, time-tested discipline of the year 529. The tools have changed, but the sacred duty to do our best work remains. The blueprint has been there for 1,500 years, waiting for us to rediscover it. The time to begin is now, not with a new app, but with a new commitment to the slow, patient, and deeply rewarding process of focused work.